Thanks, Matt, for the fireside. Next up, I'd like to welcome Kiran Patankar, President, CEO, and Director of Maple Gold Mines. Kiran. Thank you, sir.
That's cool. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Kiran Patankar, President, CEO, and Director of Maple Gold Mines. It's a pleasure to be here in Quebec City. It's a pleasure to be back at the mining investment event, and thank you to the organizers. It's a great event, gets better every year, and we look forward to being back again next year. Let's talk a little bit about Maple Gold. First, we're going to make some forward-looking statements. I'm sure everyone's familiar with these. This is the 3 million ounce gold project in the heart of Quebec's Abitibi Greenstone Gold Belt that you need to know about. We've got 3 million ounces at our Douay gold project. If you're looking for, an asymmetric value opportunity, especially with the rising gold price environment that we're in, one that reflects value from a risk-reward perspective, I think Maple Gold, you'll see as we go through the presentation, ticks every box. It's got the established ounces, it's got the district scale land package that straddles a first-order gold-bearing structure in the Abitibi. It's got a past-producing mine complex, which was Agnico Eagle's first producing gold mine in the region. It's got infrastructure. It's got a great, capable new leadership team that's delivering. We'll talk about some of the drill results that we returned in early April here shortly. We can't overstate the partnership that we have with Agnico Eagle. They've been incredibly supportive. We have turned this company around completely over the course of the last 18 months. We could not have done that without the strong support of our fantastic Tier 1 partner. Organic growth catalysts for 2025 were fully funded. A lot of work went in last year to restructuring the company, restructuring the joint venture, raising the capital to allow us to do high upside drilling this year. So we have a full pipeline of organic growth coming up in 2025. And of course, the shareholder base, right? We've brought a lot of good institutions, long-term strategic focused shareholders, including our insider group. So again, despite all of that, the Maple Gold's trading currently at $8 an ounce. That obviously, I think I heard a lot of companies here talking about how the junior gold equities have not fully priced in the realities of greater than $3,000 per ounce gold. The fact that we're trading at below the peer group average in Quebec, I think, is what represents really the asymmetric opportunity. So what have we done? We like to talk about results and deliver results. So, it's taken, admittedly, everything on the side of the milestones achieved in 2024. That is 18 months of taking an admittedly bloated and stagnant company and turning it into a dynamic one that is constantly improving and innovating. Certainly the restructuring and the financing, but really it's important that we've taken a fresh look at the data. Geology is a process. Our observational skills are what really drive value, and seeking value where others have missed it in the past is clearly one of the goals of what we did with our Rethink program, which I talked to investors and talked to the audience about last year. We're delivering results based on that rethink of the project. At the same time, we've taken a bloated company, we've dropped our cash G&A, we run the company for $150,000 a month corporately. So we've streamlined things, set the company up for success, and made critical enhancements to the leadership team where we needed to. More importantly, what are we focused on for 2025? We have what didn't change, even though we had this restructuring work to do, was the geology, right? And so we're in a fantastic jurisdiction. We've got all the elements of a potential world-class gold system, and we see visibility really to grow this deposit from its current 3 million ounces at Douay to something that approaches 5 million, which is a clear, inflection point for most exploration development companies. But we are also de-risking the ounces that we have with an updated resource estimate planned. It's in progress. It's going to be delivered by year end. We're also doing some scoping study optimization trade-off level work on our deposit. Expect a lot of that news coming over the course of the next 6 to 18 months. Our resource expansion drilling program for 2025, we've just completed 12,000 meters of drilling at Douay. We released the first 5 holes in early April. The stock has traded extremely well on good volume based on the initial results, and there's another 16 holes pending with results coming this month. We'll transition into our Joutel drilling program, the first of its kind, later in the second half of the year, 3,000 meters fully funded. And then we've got discovery potential across the property that remains as yet unexplored. Just a few words on the partnership and the restructuring we did with Agnico back last year. We did regain 100% control and a clear path of Douay and Joutel. So we didn't put a drill hole in, but we did gain 1.5 million ounces attributable, as well as 100% of Joutel. Agnico retains an interest strategically in this type of an asset. There's a lot of analogs to some of the deposits and the projects that they're currently operating. But they've got a 1% dilution NSR, a back-end right. Importantly, they invested in the equity of the company, increased their ownership at a premium. And if you look at our current market cap of $40 million Canadian, Agnico's total investments between money spent in the ground and money going into the equity of Maple Gold is roughly $25 million. So again, that's over the last 3-4 years. Great endorsement by a major, and they are a strategic partner. They're technically savvy. They spend time with us at the project often, so it's great to have that partnership. We're located in giant elephant country. This project straddles the Casa Berardi, which is one of 3 principal gold-bearing structures in the Abitibi. It ticks every box in terms of the recipe and the elements of what would make for a world-class gold system. This is the reason why a major like Agnico has taken a real interest and put good money behind really realizing that full potential. As I mentioned, we have excellent infrastructure. I think in this gold cycle that we've entered into, not only companies with established ounces, but ones that have infrastructure. In our case, we're in gold country. We've got mines to the west of us, mines to the east of us. We've got a highway that runs right through our property. We've got grid power that's, Hydro-Quebec, relatively inexpensive power. So, and we control a massive, land package that's almost 500 square kilometers in a key region. So again, infrastructure advantages is another box to tick to say, why is this trading at such a discount to its peer group? This is the progress the team has made. I'm very proud of, as I said, geology is a process, and the results from, previous drilling and previous, under previous leadership at Maple had fallen behind. The stock price had lagged, and, the value wasn't being created through the drill bit. So, we took 18 months, really the last 2024, and rethought the data, streamlined the operations. I was asked to step in as the general manager of the Agnico Maple joint venture. We did all of this. We relogged 25,000 meters of drill core and came up with a better targeting and exploration model to understand what's happening at Douay and Joutel. We budgeted $6.3 million for this year. We've, as I've said, completed 12,000 meters, so lots of catalysts coming from Douay. It's really focused on expanding the existing resource at Douay, upgrading the resource and focusing on the high grade in the shallow upwards of 500-meter portion of the Douay deposit. We upsized it. Our team, including Ian Cunningham-Dunlop, our VP Technical Services, did a great job with the program, did it efficiently, so we were able to increase the size of the program from 10 to 12,000 meters based on drilling costs coming in under budget. That's a new one for Maple. And our planned activities for the second half of the year, as I said, are resource updates, scoping studies, and additional drilling at Joutel. The property is a large district-scale land package. It straddles an important strategic splay in the Abitibi, with the Casa Berardi breaking into a north zone and a south zone. Both zones go through the Douay and the Joutel projects respectively, and there's a lot of upside potential across the property. If we had unlimited budget, obviously we'd be drilling like crazy, but 12 to 15,000 meters this year is just about right. The team has come up with a proper model for why. I think that was a hard thing for Maple to explain in the past, is what is actually driving the mineralization at Douay. There's too much to go through here, but I think you can see there's a proper structural interpretation. We're verifying that with all the oriented core that we're drilling this year, and again, the results speak for themselves, which we'll talk about here in a second. It's important to note, and I talked about this last year when I was here, that there has to be a model, right? This is about as simple as we can get. I'm a geologist and an engineer as well. I'm not an explorationist, but this is about as simple as it can get for how did we decide the drill targets that we drilled in this early program after not drilling for 2 years. They sit right in the middle of that bullseye. Also, they've got enough room and size to really grow the deposit, and they've got a additional filter of what moves the needle from an economic and a return on investment standpoint. The greatest hits, it's a 6-kilometer by 2-kilometer system at Douay. We did return the 5th best intercept ever drilled on the property with our first 5 holes. The share price certainly reflected that, the volumes, et cetera. But there is a high-grade tenor here that we're focused on. When you look at hole 338, it was a thick, continuously mineralized high-grade intercept in a 300-meter down plunge step-out from what was the previously best hole drilled in that zone. These are the holes that we've drilled thus far, and the ones in yellow have already been released. We've got a lot more coming. I'll show you a few sections. I think this is the real compelling part about Douay, is that it's been drilled off in the top 500 meters, but there's still 100 to 200 meter gaps in the resource. The purple represents high grade. You see an outline of, a target model of Odyssey, Goldie, Agnico's Malartic project. This has the footprint of Malartic and Detour. It has a fraction of the drilling, right? So we've gone in, instead of going for these deep moon shots that the company had taken before, we've really tried to vector on what's controlling high-grade mineralization and had very good success with our first few holes. This is the one in particular that got the market talking. It was really the meat of that intercept. The broader intercept was 1.5 grams over 170 meters, but the meat was 109 meters of 2 grams with 3 grams over 56 and 5 grams over 17. So very good intercept, still open, lots of follow-up testing since. We've drilled some wedge holes trying to determine the orientation and plunge of this zone. Again, stay tuned. We really focused on the alteration corridor at Nika to try to drive this zone to really adding some significant ounces at that zone. We've taken a proper geologic approach. We look at the structure. We look at, this is core from that area. We see these intersections of these fracture-filled pyrite-rich gold-bearing zones with the sericitic quartz, calcite, plus or minus chlorite. And there's an orientation there. That plunge mirrors the zone that we've just defined, potential bulk tonnage underground at Nika. It's also guiding some of the additional exploration we've done elsewhere on the property. We did have good success at Porphyry East. There's some high grade. If this had only been the only results we released, I think it would have been successful, but obviously the 338 was a real standout. The resource itself is a snapshot. We're looking at optimizing this resource now, but as I said, there's 500,000 ounces in indicated, 2.5 million ounces in inferred. We do have some underground inferred, but I think there's going to be some more optimization coming out of that over the next 6 months, so stay tuned. We do think as well, by the way, back to the resources, that we have the opportunity to potentially include a first-time resource at Joutel. In terms of development, we're looking at optimizing higher grade. We've got a head frame here. We've got early metallurgy on the project that shows very good recoveries with comminution, whole sample leach, and cyanidation, mid-80s to high 90s. Just a few words on Joutel before I run out of time. This was Agnico's first producing gold mine. It's actually how they got their name, Agnico Eagle, for those that, if that ever comes up in a trivia night. What's really interesting about the deposit is it mined 1.1 million ounces at 6.5 grams from 1974 to 1993. When we got that data, we have a treasure trove. I mean, Maple Gold has a lot of gold in the ground, but a lot of the gold that we have is in the data. We got a lot of information that was sitting in bankers' boxes in Val-d'Or back from Agnico. They digitized and QA/QC'd this model when we were a joint venture back in 2021 at a cost of $600,000. You can see there is some very high-grade material here. A lot of the gray is what was mined out, and there are still lots of areas with upside that are 3, 4, 5, 6 grams, right? It makes sense that that wouldn't have been touched when it was $300 gold, but now that we're tenfold increase in the gold price, there's a lot of potential here. Few words here just to see what the site looks like. It's set up like a mining site, so obviously there was intent to go into production here at some point. I think that's the focus that we have going forward. It's not a science project. We want to ultimately mine here. In terms of the people, the entire management team has been turned over the course of the last 18 months. They're doing a fantastic job. We have a great board that has a tremendous amount of major mining company capital markets experience. Just lastly, on our capital structure, there's 456 million out. We're trading at or near our 52-week high. Gives us a market cap of just under $40 million, but we're trading, importantly, significant volumes. The volumes, it's been validated, in terms of a breakup by real accumulation, and you know, the volumes have increased from 150,000 a day on the venture to over 600. Good analyst coverage, strong supportive shareholder base, including Agnico, Fidelity, the Caisse de Depot, and Placement en Quebec, and a number of other institutions. So just in closing, I think this is a very compelling opportunity. I'm very proud of the cultural shift that we've instilled, driving process and team-oriented, results-driven culture. We've got the control of a big district with established ounces, with a high-grade past-producing mine complex, lots of upside potential, the right location, the great Tier 1 partner, you couldn't ask for a better one, and we're fully funded to deliver a lot of growth in 2025. And as we say at Maple, we don't just talk about it, we just do it. So thank you very much for your attention. I appreciate it.